In Hollywood's golden age, some of the biggest stars of their time left the world suddenly, under circumstances so strange that even decades later, people still argue about what really happened. Today, we're diving into 6 such stories. 6 legendary Hollywood figures whose deaths continue to haunt investigators, fans, and conspiracy theorists. Natalie Wood, a tragic night on the water. If there is one Hollywood mystery that still grips the world decades later, it is the drowning of Natalie Wood. She was one of the most successful actresses of her generation, starring in classics like West Side Story, Rebel Without a Cause, and Splendor in the Grass. Beautiful, talented, and adored, Natalie Wood had everything. But on Thanksgiving weekend, 1981, Natalie went on a yacht trip with her husband, actor Robert Wagner, and their friend, actor Christopher Walken. The night started with wine, dinner, and discussions about Natalie's career. But witnesses reported heated arguments between Wagner and Walken on deck. Later that night, Natalie vanished. Her body was found hours later floating near Catalina Island. The official ruling, accidental drowning. Authorities claimed she slipped while trying to retie a dinghy, but people didn't buy it. Natalie had a lifelong fear of dark water. She avoided small boats. Friends said she would never step off the yacht alone at night. Bruises found on her body raised suspicion. So did the fact that Robert Wagner gave conflicting stories about what happened. The yacht's captain later testified that Wagner had urged him to stay quiet. In 2011, the investigation was reopened. In 2013, the cause of death was changed to drowning and other undetermined factors. In 2018, Robert Wagner was officially named a person of interest, though never charged. Even today, Natalie Wood's death remains a haunting, heartbreaking mystery, one that the public may never get answers to. Bob Crane, a brutal crime scene and a lifetime of secrets. Bob Crane became a household name thanks to the comedy series Hogan's Heroes. He was charming, funny, and loved by millions. But after the show ended, his career declined and his personal life grew darker and more complicated. On June 29, 1978, Bob Crane was found bludgeoned to death in his apartment in Scottsdale, Arizona. The crime scene was horrifying. Blood-covered walls, a cord wrapped around his neck, and no sign of forced entry. What shocked investigators even more was Crane's secret life. Thousands of videotapes documenting his affairs with women, many filmed with the help of his friend, John Carpenter, an electronics expert. Carpenter quickly became the prime suspect. Witnesses reported tension between the two men, possibly over jealousy or money. But the evidence was messy. A blood smear in Carpenter's rental car resembled Crane's blood type, but DNA testing wasn't advanced at the time. When later tested decades afterward, results were inconclusive. Carpenter was tried in 1994 and acquitted. To this day, no one knows who killed Bob Crane or why. Hollywood scandals, secret obsessions, jealousy, and betrayal all swirl around the case, making it one of the industry's darkest unsolved murders. Carole Lombard, the aviation legend, surrounded by sabotage rumors. Carole Lombard was more than a glamorous actress. She was one of Hollywood's greatest comedic talents, starring in screwball comedies that defined a generation. She was also fiercely patriotic. After the U.S. entered World War II, Carole raised millions in war bonds, becoming a national hero. On January 16, 1942, after attending a war bond rally in Indiana, Carole boarded TWA Flight 3 to return to Los Angeles. The plane never made it. It crashed into Potosi Mountain in Nevada, killing all 22 passengers, including Carole, her mother, and a group of military personnel. The official explanation: pilot error. But rumors soon spread. Some claimed the plane was sabotaged by German agents in the U.S., retaliation for Carole's fundraising efforts. Several Nazi spies had indeed been discovered in America around that time, which fueled speculation. Another theory suggests that the flight was mysteriously diverted from its usual route, raising questions about misdirection or interference. Others believe the military presence on the flight might have made it a strategic target. Carole Lombard's death devastated Hollywood and her husband, Clark Gable, who spiraled into grief and later enlisted in the U.S. Army Air Forces, partly to honor her memory. Though sabotage has never been proven, the mystery surrounding the crash remains one of the war era's most debated aviation tragedies. Thelma Todd, the ice cream blonde, and the mystery in the garage. Thelma Todd was one of Hollywood's brightest comedic stars of the 1920s to 30s. Known as the ice cream blonde, she brought charm and sparkle to the big screen. But off-screen, Thelma was a businesswoman too. She owned a successful restaurant on the Pacific Coast Highway, a glamorous place where actors, gangsters, and wealthy elites gathered. On December 16, 1935, Thelma Todd was found dead in her car inside the garage of her estranged lover, film director Roland West. She was just 29. The official cause, carbon monoxide poisoning. Authorities ruled it accidental, suggesting she fell asleep in her running car. But almost immediately, that explanation fell apart. First, Thelma had been seen hours before at a Hollywood party. Happy, laughing, planning a trip to New York. Not suicidal, not sick, not drunk. Witnesses said she left in good spirits after an argument with her ex-husband, but nothing extreme. Second, her injuries didn't match an accident. Reports describe bruises, broken ribs, and signs that she may have been beaten before death. Her shoes were clean, yet the walk to the garage was steep and dirty, suggesting she never walked there herself. Third, her connections to organized crime fueled rumors. One conspiracy claims she refused to let mobsters turn her cafe into a gambling operation. Another suggests Roland West, known for controlling behavior, locked her out of the house, and she tried to sleep in her car. But that still doesn't explain the suspicious wounds. The case was quietly closed, but Hollywood never stopped talking. To this day, Thelma Todd's death is one of the industry's most chilling, unsolved mysteries. George Reeves, Superman's death that shocked America. In the 1950s, George Reeves became Superman for millions of viewers. On screen, he was invincible, noble, the hero children admired. But off-screen, Reeves felt trapped by the role. He struggled to escape being typecast and dreamed of bigger, more serious acting work. On June 16, 1959, Reeves was found dead in his bedroom from a gunshot wound. He was 45. Police ruled it a suicide. Case closed. But the evidence? Messy, confusing, almost suspiciously mishandled. For one, the people in the house at the time waited nearly an hour to call police. Some claimed they heard the gunshot. Others insisted they didn't. The scene wasn't preserved properly, and fingerprints were never taken from the gun. Then came the Hollywood scandal angle. Reeves had been in a long relationship with Toni Mannix, the wife of powerful MGM executive Eddie Mannix. When Reeves left Toni to marry his younger fiancée, many believe Mannix felt humiliated. People whispered that Eddie Mannix, known for strong mafia connections, took care of problems quietly. Another theory says Reeves was killed during a drunken argument with friends. Yet another claims he was shot accidentally during horseplay. Suicide? Murder? Cover-up? No one knows. But what is clear is that Superman's death was treated far too quickly, far too lightly, for someone of his fame. The unanswered questions continue to fuel conspiracy documentaries and debates even today. Marilyn Monroe. The most famous mystery in Hollywood history. Few celebrity deaths have sparked more conspiracy theories than that of Marilyn Monroe. She wasn't just a movie star, she was an icon, a symbol of beauty, vulnerability, and Hollywood glamour. But her life was far more complicated than her public persona revealed. On August 4, 1962, Marilyn was found dead in her Los Angeles home from what was ruled a barbiturate overdose. The official verdict, probable suicide. She had been struggling with insomnia, anxiety, and emotional turmoil. But nothing about the scene seemed straightforward. Her housekeeper's timeline changed several times. Her doctor arrived before the police, which critics say allowed time to alter the scene. No water glass was found near the bed, despite the high level of pills in her system. And the toxicology report itself had inconsistencies. Some organs weren't tested, others were missing. And then there were the rumors about her relationships with President John F. Kennedy and his brother, Attorney General Robert Kennedy. Some believe Marilyn knew too much, political secrets, personal embarrassments, or sensitive information that powerful people didn't want exposed. Others believe the mafia was involved, hoping to send a message to the Kennedys. Another theory says Marilyn died accidentally after being given a combination of medications by multiple doctors who didn't coordinate treatments. To this day, it's unclear whether Marilyn Monroe died by her own hand, or whether her death was staged to look that way. Her story is a tragic reminder that even the brightest stars often burn with pain hidden from the public eye.